How long have you covered the NBA?
I started covering the NBA in 2002. Long time.
Like more than a decade.
Yeah.
All right, so you might have some insight on this. The most hopeful of Mizzou fans right now, I mean, they're like 3 left. And they're thinking, okay, well, Michael Porter Jr. is out for the season, back surgery. Maybe this increases the likelihood that he would be back as a sophomore. You've covered the league. You know how the draft process works. What's your response to that?
I mean, there's no way he'll ever play for Mizzou. He won't play next season. The only way he plays for Mizzou is if he somehow comes back from the injury this season and miraculously plays in late February or March or, it would be a great problem. April.
Yeah.
But no, he's going to the draft. Why wouldn't he? He's getting this surgery because he's going to the draft. He could have played through this if he was a professional with money in the bank. He doesn't have the money in the bank. In my opinion, he got this surgery so he could be healthy and ready to go for the NBA draft and for the NBA.
I think back injuries for basketball players are kind of like knee injuries for football players, in that if you have one and you can go to the league, you go.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to happen next season. So I don't fault Michael for that, but man, there are some questions about this whole Michael Porter Jr. saga, and we're going to try to answer some of them here today.
Yeah. By the way, Ben, what are you driving today?
Well, I got to tell you, it's my 11-year-old truck.
Oh, 2006?
Oh, yeah. It comes with, it's got some nice features. It's got 2 cup holders.
We got two cup holders, this one.
Lots of old newspapers.
Okay.
And some used coffee cups as well.
Where
it actually has a radio.
Okay.
But you can't plug your phone in.
I was going to say, where do you plug in your iPhone?
Well, you don't. You actually can charge it, but you got to use the cigarette lighter.
Oh, we got a CD player, though. What's in here?
Oh, 6 discs.
66 CDs?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, it makes that weird sound. Sorry about that.
What is it, the Gin Blossoms? What's going on here?
Yeah, the Lumineers.
Oh, Lumineers.
Yeah.
Lumineers. All right, let's talk Michael Porter Jr. What are some of your emotions and your thoughts about this?
Well, it's just he couldn't write a more bizarre scene, and I know Mizzou fans are conditioned to having things kind of blow up in their face, as you touched on in today's column at the Post-Dispatch, and it really is like there's like a cruel script writer for Mizzou athletics, and it's just hard to imagine this ending like this. Now, certainly Michael Porter Jr. brought a lot to Mizzou.
No question.
There are players on the team that would not be here if it wasn't for him.
Most of the players. Most of the new players.
But man, it's tough to know he's only going to play 2 minutes in his college career, and that's going to be more than likely the end of it. I guess one of my questions that will never probably be answered is like, what if he would have maybe tried a different route of treatment, right? I mean, like, and I'm not blaming him for his decision, and certainly he's got millions and millions of dollars on the line.
Right.
But it does sound like there was some disagreement, some discussion about different ways to tackle this issue, this back problem. Yeah. And one of them was maybe more conservative than surgery. You just wonder maybe what he might have been able to do if he would have tried that other route. But look, I'm not going to sit here and knock a guy for wanting to get fixed and get right for the NBA. The hope is that the surgery works, that it succeeds, and that he puts us in his past, and that's not a recurring problem. But that will always be something to me that's like, man, what if?
Yeah,
and that's kind of what the whole situation is.
Yeah, I mean, look, every year a 2 seed loses to a 15 or a 3 loses to 14. Every year a really good team enters the NCAA tournament and loses. I bring that up saying, like, it's very easy for fans to be excited and say, oh, we've got the best player and all these other things. We're going to the Final Four. But the reality is even good teams sometimes blow it. So it's hard to guarantee anything. But I would say that because they had Michael Porter Jr., it was very realistic they were going to make the tournament. And that is something from Mizzou. The fact that they were so bad for 3 years in a row, and even before that, to make the tournament. So now it's like, can this team without Michael Porter Jr. still do that?
Yeah, and I don't know. Watching the first 2 games without him, I would have said, yeah. I mean, the way that they played without him was really promising against Iowa State, because he only played, the couple minutes and then checked himself out. And then the way they played against Wagner, well, it's Wagner.
Still,
but the way it was the product on the floor. Now, the last 2 games, it looked to me like they were playing like a team that was waiting to find out the status of Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah,
I mean, they were doing as close as they could as standing around waiting for Michael to show up.
As if he'd show up during that game.
So
like out of nowhere, like, oh, here he is.
And
20 points.
I don't know that there's a silver lining to losing a guy like Michael, but if there is one, it's that this team knows now that he's not walking through that door.
Right.
So they better figure out what they have and re-identify themselves, because something that's shouldn't be lost in the shuffle here was this team was built around Michael Porter Jr. The offense was going to run through Michael Porter Jr. He was going to be the alpha and the omega for this team scoring points.
Right.
He was going to be the reason they played a lot of zone because he's so long and so athletic. He was a big part of all these plans, and now they're going, okay, we got to readjust on the fly.
Right.
And they got to do it with 3 games in about 3 days in this tournament in Orlando. So I think that's good. Just throw them, you don't want to sit around and think about the stuff that Mizzou fans would think about. You want to go out there and play. But these guys have to dig within themselves and figure out, okay, with every disappointment comes an opportunity. There's going to be roles up for grabs. There's going to be ways to impact games in this season that some guys might have not had a chance to do before.
Yep. And when we talk about no Porter, we're still going to at least see Jonte Porter play for the Tigers. And what a story he's been so far. This guy gets rebounds during the national anthem, it seems, and he's just so athletic and so fun to watch. He's just turned 18 years old. I'm really excited to see him. And, of course, there's a lot of other players that are going to make this season exciting, but there's just that weird feeling like, what could have been.
It could have been. That will be this Michael Porter Jr. story.
Yeah.
And there really isn't anything that can happen that could change that, because if this team gets in the tournament and when it loses, people will say, man, what could have been? What if they would have had it? What if they would have had it?
Right.
If they don't get in, it would have been, they would have been a tournament team. If they go on some incredible run, even they will want to know how much better it could have been. Like, you can't pull a guy like that out of an equation and then not think about how it would have been different with him in there. So it's a test.
Yeah.
This is a huge test for Cuonzo Martin in his first year. How is he going to hold this team together?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a fascinating story. This team might be more interesting now than it was before. It's certainly, I don't know that it can be as good, but it's definitely more interesting. And I hope, my hope is this: I hope that fans give them a chance to show that they can play a high level of basketball in their own way without him. Because it would be a bummer for the guys if all of a sudden they show up to their next home game and no one's there because everybody was just there to see Michael.
By the way, you're supposed to turn left like 3 blocks away.
Well, it's just this nice truck is just riding so easy. I just thought we'd keep going. You want to play a CD?
What else do you have in there? Lumineers.
Well, I got some rap.
Hip hop.
I think you like that 90s rap.
Oh, yes I do.